All right, it's your boy Butler. It's the best day of my life. Tomorrow's not promised. Go on and do your little dance while they still playing your song. Hey, man, I got an exclusive today, man. I got a real exclusive. I got Casper Loc, and we gonna touch on some of the. We gonna put to rest some of the myths and the rumors in reference to the origin of Bloods and Crips in Atlanta, man. We're gonna dive in deep, man, and this is gonna be a maybe a 3 or 4 part series, man. But this is our series 1. And bro, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, fam. How you doing, big
Hey,
dog?
man, it's the best day. It's the best day of my life, man. I don't know how I can get no better. So, man, I have talked to a number of people. I have been led down many streets. I have people saying, "Oh no, we was the first over here." Or, no, they was the first over there. And I just need to get some clarification, man. And you came highly recommended in reference to just letting people know how it actually was, man. So how did Bloods and Crips get to Atlanta? What's the origin? Who started? What hood had its input? Let me know everything. Just assume you're talking to somebody who has no clue about it. But I like to get some clarification.
10-4, let's get started. Before I start, I want to give a shout out to you, big brother. You're doing great with your pages. Keep doing what you're doing. And I also want to give a shout out to Big D and Charlie Boy. Anyone check this video out, go check their page out. They doing a great thing too.
Yeah, Big D and Charlie Boy, the big homies, man, for real, for real. I probably owe Big D about 5 soups if I ain't mistaken.
Okay, let's get to it. Now, I'm going to tell you, Crips and Bloods coming to Atlanta, it's not a romantic story like the Miami boys moving up here and trying to take over.
Okay.
It's real simple. Around 88, 89, L.A. was averaging between 300 to 400 deaths a year.
Wow.
Kids were killing kids out there.
Yeah.
A lot of parents realized we got to get our kids out of L.A.
Okay.
So they started moving to St. Louis, Colorado, Oregon, but the gangs were following. In the 90s, property value in Atlanta was dirt cheap.
Okay.
People were paying between $150,000 and $250,000 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom house, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house in LA, Compton, Long Beach, wise. In Atlanta, you can get a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom, all brick house for $60,000. People realized that.
Okay.
So they moved out here due to property value, plus they wanted to get their kids away from the gangs in LA.
Okay.
But what happened was, when the kids got out here, they brought that mentality with them.
Okay.
Kind of like your boy who did the Woodridge video said. At Reed End, he said you would see 3 or 4 California kids in the corner. You see 3 or 4 New York kids in the corner.
Right.
That's how it started popping up. You started seeing 2 or 3 kids from California at Reed End, Southwest, Columbia, McNair, Lakeside, Dunwoody. They started popping up Latonia.
Yeah.
And then from there, those kids started befriending other kids, and Atlantic kids clicked onto that West Coast mentality. Now, let me tell you another thing that helped expand it. The movie Colors and the movie Boys in the Hood.
Thanks.
If you remember, nobody was wearing Dickies in Atlanta before Boys in the Hood.
I agree.
After Boys in the Hood, everyone started wearing Dickies.
Yep.
So when that movie came out, it made that Crip and Blood image become super cool. So now you got 2 or 3 kids who, some may have been actual gang members, some may have been affiliates, some may have just grown up in that community. Mm-hmm. Now they're out here and they're the real deal Holyfield. So they're getting these kids out here who want to identify with something, who may not play sports, who may not have a group of their own. They're gravitating towards this. Next thing you know, you got 10 Crips in Reed End, you got 10 Crips in Latonia, you got 10 Crips in Southwest, all based off people wanting to get their kids away from gangs, coming out here to a new city, putting that Los Angeles mentality down. NWA, Boys in the Hood, Colors, Ice-T, South Central Cartel, all this gangster music, DJ Quick, everything is blowing up. Ice Cube, Mac 10, All this is blowing up.
Is that similar to what took place in I think it was Little Rock?
Little Rock was different. Little Rock and St. Louis were different.
Okay.
Those gangs went down there and they put their foot in the ground.
Okay.
They went down there to form something. I never saw. Those were older cats who were more mature and more established.
Okay.
Little Rock and St. Louis was more about drugs.
Gotcha. Okay.
More about drugs.
All right.
Seattle, more about drugs. Colorado, more about drugs. Atlanta, it wasn't like that.
Okay.
Atlanta, it was more about parents trying to get their kids out of it. Now, I'm not saying that people did not do that. I'm not saying that you didn't have 2 or 3 cats come out. I never saw that.
Okay.
What I saw was kids, 14, 15, and 16 years old, cripping and blooding, bringing that mentality down here, and other kids grabbing onto it.
Okay.
Next thing you know, you got the foundation. You got the seed. The seed is in the soil. All you got to do is water it and watch it grow.
Gotcha. So is that where we get some of because one of the first, from being an Atlanta native, I've heard some names that the first games was like, I heard Chateau Boys, I heard Down by Law, I Refuse. Are you familiar with any of these gangs?
I'm familiar with Chateau, not familiar with Down by Law, and I Refuse. Not too. I know about them. I've heard about them.
Yeah.
Not too familiar, but I know all about Chateau. Know all about the Lynch Mob, Skydale Boys, Bruce Street Boys. That had nothing to do with cripping and blooding. They were actually anti-cripping and blooding. Now, later on, Skydale, if I'm correct, someone from Skydale may say this is not true. Skydale did start adopting the red color around 94, 95, and I thought they were Bloods. But you would need someone from Skydale to correct that.
Okay.
But Chateau, the homegrown Atlanta gangs were very anti-Crips and Bloods.
Okay.
Very anti.
Okay.
Thought they were almost stupid.
Right. I hear that when I talk to some of the OGs. That's kind of like the verbiage.
The Crip and Blood community in 1989, 1990, 91, the original founding fathers, was a very small community of a few individuals who were dedicated to a cause. But their numbers were very small and they were not embraced by the local neighborhood gangsters.
Okay. So I remember back in 96, it was the first time I really seen like some real, what I thought was real gang members, man. Well, this probably was like 94, 95. Was a multicultural group of young men that went by LTC or Local Town Crips. And at first, I thought this was like something that was, not that wasn't really street, because I saw white boys. I'm just going to keep it real. But upon examination, what I come to find out is that the color had nothing to do with the thoroughness. Them folks was about their issue. They was for real.
Facts. LTC, from my understanding, was started by an Asian dude from Long Beach.
Okay.
His original gang is ABC, Asian Boy Crips in Long Beach. That's a certified hood, all Asian Filipino cats, and they get down for their grits and gravies. From my understanding, he is the founding father of LTC. And LTC, in my opinion, is the first hood to bang the correct way.
What do you mean?
ATL. The correct way, meaning that you advertise. See, one thing about Atlanta gangs back then, they didn't advertise. LA is all about advertisement. You want people to know where you're from. LA gangs, West Coast gangs, present their organization kind of like football teams do. So You wear your hood on your hat. You wear your hood on your sweatshirt. You wear your hood on your jacket. You wall bang. You spray paint on walls. You want people to know. We had a saying in the 80s and 90s, if you want to know where you are, don't read the street sign, read the writing on the wall.
Right.
That'll tell you where you are. LTC did that. They went out and spray painted. They let people know when you come in this community, it is protected by LTC.
Right.
That was one of the very first hoods I actually saw do that out here.
Okay, and then what are some of the other ones that you saw, following that same trend?
Well, Atlanta right now is a blood city, and this is one of the biggest misconceptions. The founding fathers of the Bloods in Atlanta is Bam and Rascal. They started the first set called, I'm going to call it Northside Bloods. I can't even remember what they hood was in real life, but they had locked down some apartments in Cobb County. And I swear to God, bro, when you pulled in, it looked like training day. You saw little homies on bikes, Chuck Taylors, Wallacees, FB counties, all the straight gangster clothes. I mean, they were banged out. They portrayed it. They had it on lockdown. Bam was from Wixard Avenue in the Valley. That's my dog, Bam, a.k.a. Little Money. Rascal was from Carson or Scottsdale in California. He was a Blood. Those two put down the first, like I said, done correctly. Spray painting on wall, advertisement, everyone in uniforms, little homies, baby homies, big homies. Bam and Rascal deserve credit for having the first original set in Cobb County. It started in 1990.
Wow.
And those are my dog. Me and Bam were tight. That was like my brother. That's my dog.
So when you set up shop like this, and there's no visual op, ain't nobody to bang against. How does that?
Exactly. Now they banged against Atlanta gangs. Bam and Rascal and them biggest hoods that they fought against. Because back then in Atlanta, your high school was pretty much your hood.
Okay.
So they fought against Willard High. They fought against Lassiter High. They fought against Marietta High. They fought against they had a gang out in Cobb called Hilltop Hustlers. They fought against them. So they would meet up at the mall. They would meet up at the skating rink. They had a club out there called Mardi Gras. They would meet up at Mardi Gras, and they would bang against mostly local Atlanta hoods.
Okay. Let's go back a little bit. Okay. Mind you, I'm a civilian. So a lot of times I'm reading this literature, and I'm a not just a fan of the Black Panther Party, man, but I've studied some of their literature. Is it correct to assume or to say that the origin of the Bloods and Crips kind of were meshed with some of the beliefs of the Black Panther Party? Or is that just hogwash?
50 in one hand, 50 in the other. Some people do say that the baby Crips started by Raymond Washington and Stanley Tukey were an off branch of the Black Panther Party. Some people do say that. Some people say, no, they were just some young guys who were part of a gang called the Avenues, the Baby Avenues. That was a younger gang that preceded the Crips and Bloods in L.A. You had the Avenues, the Slauson, the Gladiators, the Businessmen. Those gangs preceded Bloods and Crips in California.
Okay.
So some people say the Crips are an off branch, or the little homies of the Avenues, Gladiators, and the Slausons. And some say that the Crips are an off branch of the Black Panther. Me, I tend to believe they're more of an off branch of the Gladiators, the Avenues, and the Slausons.
Gotcha.
They were kids. They were 14, 15, and 16. They didn't have the understanding to know about the Black Panther Party.
Right.
These are kids leading kids.
Right.
That's what this is. These aren't adults. These are kids. These are 14, 15. Raymond Washington and Stanley Tukey Williams, when they started the Crip, they were 15 and 16 years old. Wow. They don't have the mentality to be revolutionaries.
Okay.
They're still riding bikes. They riding Huskies. They riding Swins.
Okay.
These are kids.
Okay. So you've got LTC on the east side. You've got
LTC's from Gwinnett.
For real? What was they doing on the east side then?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I give them credit. They knew how to recruit. They did it correctly. They recruited. They made a real hood. They made something. They were started in Gwinnett County. That's a fact. Yeah. They were not started in DeKalb. They were started in Gwinnett County. And the Bloods were started in Cobb. And you got to remember now, LTC also fought against CKT, Clarkson Chaos Thugs.
Now, what is CKT?
That was a hood Clarkson had that was just a homegrown hood called Carson Chaos Thugs. And they beefed with LTC. They weren't Crips or Bloods. They were thugs. And they started around 1991, 1992.
Okay.
Now on the east side, the first east side hood is LMG, Loced Out Mob Gangsters. And that was a hybrid gang that consisted of Crips and Bloods.
Huh?
That's where Notorious Jap come in. Jap was an original little homie of LMG.
Please break that down, because it sounds like you said it was a hybrid of Bloods and Crips.
Yeah, there weren't enough Crips and there weren't enough Bloods to start a hood, so they ended up linking up. And it was half Crips and half Bloods. And that's why it's called LMG, Loced Out Gangsters, versus Loced Out Crips or Loced Out Bloods, because it consisted of both groups. That goes back to, I want to say that formed in 1991 or 92, because Jap caught his case in 92. So it had to be before Jap caught his case.
First of all, I want to say rest in peace, Jap. That was
R.I.P. King Jap.
Yeah, man, it was a good brother, man. Good brother, man.
And Jap's case is what pretty much dismantled LMG.
Can we walk through that case?
Yeah, definitely. I saw Jap before the murder and after the murder.
Okay, so when did you meet Jap initially?
Okay, I met Jap maybe about 4 months after he moved out here from St. Louis.
Okay.
I saw Jap. He was wearing some black Dickies.
What part of town?
In Decatur.
Oh, he was in Decatur?
Yeah, he's on Western Chapel.
Wow, he was in the hood.
Yeah. I saw him. He had on some black Dickies, a red St. Louis Cardinals jersey, and I walked past him, and I looked him up and down. And I had a Dickie suit on, a blue Dickie suit on. He looked me up and down. And so I double took. I said, cuz gotta be from somewhere. He gotta be from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he blacked out. But Jap was big for his age. I didn't know he was 14.
Right.
He was 14. I'm 18 at the time. I'm 17 or 18. I'm older than Jap. And so I doubled back.
Hold on, were you in school at all?
I met Jap at the gas station.
Okay, no, I'm saying at 18, were you in school?
No, I was out of school.
Okay, was Jap in school?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What school was he going to?
He was going to Southwest.
All right. Okay.
He was in Southwest, yeah.
Right.
So I saw him at the gas station. So I did a double take and came back on it. And I was like, do you know what them Dickies mean? And he was like, yeah, I know what these Dickies mean. Now, he didn't say blood or nothing. He wasn't bowing down either.
Right.
And so I said, okay. I said, where you from? And he said, I'm from St. Louis. And I said, no, I mean, where you from? And he said, I'm from LOPB, Loced Out Piru Bloods. Okay. And that was it.
So Loced Out Piru Bloods come from where?
St. Louis.
Okay, they come from St. Louis.
St. Louis. Yeah.
Okay. And so then where do you guys go in your relationship from here? And hold on. What do Dickies mean? What did that mean?
The khakis, Dickies pants.
Yeah. What
that means if you're wearing Dickies, that means you represent the brand.
Okay.
If you're wearing Dickies, Cohart, SB Counties, 501s, with a pair of Wallacees, pair of Cortez, pair of Chuck Taylors with a white T-shirt, that means you represent the brand.
Hey man, let me tell you something about fashion, man. There's some people that I'm gonna tell you personally. I have worn Dickies and Chucks and T-shirt because I seen it on TV, man, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah. A lot of people did, but they also represented something at the same time.
Right. Okay, so y'all essentially get off on a good foot. Where does it go?
That was my dog. He was with me every day.
Okay.
Every day. Anytime I went somewhere, I drove around there and picked him up. I knew his mama, his dad, his stepdad, the whole family.
Right.
That was my dog. His best friend was a dude named Bones. I think Bones was from New York or St. Louis, but both families moved down here at the same time, like I said, because the property was cheaper.
Wow.
They both moved down here together because the property was cheaper. So then I introduced them to my clique, who I was running with, And then from there, we just became one big family, just rolling together all the time.
Yeah.
That was my dog. Every day he was with me.
Wow.
And so then that's when Jap got caught up with LMG. LMG consisted of notable riders, Big Lowdown. He's a Blood from Cali, Big Homicide. He was out here on the run from St. Louis. He's from neighborhood Crip. He's also from Hilltop Hustlers, one of the biggest gangs out of Seattle. C-Mac from Harlem Crip. D-Bone. Actually, Dog was there, who's actually in the Georgia pen right now doing Life Without the Possibility. He was a Blood. So that's kind of how it kind of formed. Crips and Bloods like that on the east side, linking up through that commonality.
Okay. And so how do we get to Jap's situation?
Well, Jap's with us every day. And it's funny, certain cats in the pen said Jap used to tell him all the time, had I listened to Casper Loc, I wouldn't be in here right now. So we're kicking it at the homie's house, Big Homicide. Everyone's hanging out, we're kicking it. It was graduation night, I think. It was all the schools that graduated.
What year is
so
it?
They would have 1992.
Damn, bro.
1992.
You know, when I talk to you, I realize how naive I am, because you talking real games, real situation. And I'm like, in 1992, it was about Freak Neat and some Reebok classics, man. But go ahead.
Yeah, it was, except for that small community. Except for that one. Yeah. So it's 1992. Club Excess is throwing a graduation party for all the schools.
Oh, man.
I was going somewhere else. We all at the house. So I'm telling Jap, I said, hey, dog, ride with me, bro. And then we'll double back and catch up, with the homies at Club Excess. And he's with the other homie. Now, there was some other inter politics and issues between the clique. So I ain't gonna go into all that.
Okay.
The other homie was like, nah, Jap, ride with me. I'm begging Jap. I'm like, dog, because Jap was my dog. That was my dog.
Right.
I'm like, ride with me, bro, ride with me. So he said, no, I'm gonna ride with them, dog. He said, I'll catch up with you at Club Excess. I said, all right, cool. So I've been out, boom, go where I gotta go. This is around 8 o'clock, because understand now, you get in free before 10 at Club Excess.
Facts.
That's how I know what time this is, dog. Because I'm trying to get to Club Excess before 10 to get in free.
Wow.
That's important. That's how I know. That's how I know the time lock.
Yeah.
So I bone out. I double back about an hour later. I run into 3 people in the car with Jap and Jap. They sitting in the parking lot. I pull up on them. I'm like, cuz, what's happening? One of the homies in the car said, hey, cuz, I love you. I ain't never gonna see you again. But I want you to know I love you.
Huh?
Jap, I remember like it was yesterday. Jap said, hey, cuz, let me tell you. He said, hey, blood, let me tell you what happened. And one of the homies in the car was like, nigga, shut up. I'm like, what happened? He said, nothing. He said, man, Jap just tripping. You know how he is. He's just tripping. But I could tell the mood wasn't right, but I wasn't tripping. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go up in the club. And so then, I'm like, what's up? Y'all going in? They like, yeah, we're going to go on. We're going to meet you in there later. So that was kind of weird, but I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay. I just saw the dude an hour ago at the spot.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm out. I'm going up in. I'll get with y'all later. They bone out. The next day, my dad woke me up in the morning and said, hey, whoop-de-whoop, and Jap be in charge of murder.
What?
Yeah. And from my understanding, what happened, now I've heard 8 different stories. I don't think I've ever gotten the truth. But they were arguing with some guys at a restaurant, at a fast food spot.
Uh-huh.
And one thing led to another. And Jap shot the dude in the face.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
And that's how he make it to Alto.
Yep. And the dude was actually from California. The guy he killed was from California. He was down here on a little intern-like project at Morehouse. He was a smart kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was down here on a little program at Morehouse. And got killed.
Wow.
Yeah. And that sent Jap to Alto. He did 23 years.
Damn, bro. Okay, so brought the coach here. Let's see. What's one of the misconceptions that people have about the origin story in Atlanta that we can fix today?
It was never anything set in place. It wasn't an idea. It wasn't a concept. It started from parents trying to get their kids away from gangs. Crips and Bloods started out here because parents were running from that. Parents were trying to save their kids from that, and they came out here and they brought that with them strictly because of the popularity of media and the TV.
Okay, so let's touch on that. So we got Jap get locked up in what year?
92.
He get locked up in 92. Okay, so where does the gang culture in Atlanta go from 92 to the present?
I call that the Snoop Dogg era.
Yeah, because Snoop was that guy. Snoop was that guy.
Everybody and their mama started cripping, and everybody was either a GD, a gangster disciple, or a Crip. Crips were taking over. They were blowing up.
That's what I do remember that. Now, I remember prior to the only real gang members I saw some GDs one time. They tried to take my joints outside of Sequoia Middle School. They asked me what size those shoes was, and I immediately showed them how fast I could run. So I kept my gas. Now, but then I also remember 94, 95, there was a guy who came down by the name of Tweety Bird. And Tweety Bird was converting these guys. I'm probably not using the right verbiage, but if you was GD or anything, he was smashing. Not smashing it. I don't want to disrespect nobody, but he was turning. He brought whatever he had going on, he was bringing it, and he was setting precedents in that area. I don't know what he had going on nowhere else, but the way that he moved, the nigga had a Jerry curl, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know what it was about him, but the nigga was just fly. The nigga came with the Dickies, the Chucks, his vernacular, just how he was, man. He just was a leader, like a natural born leader. But that's what I remember. Tweety Bird, West Side 111 Hoover Street Crips coming from California, man, and he was a force to be reckoned with. They was a force to be reckoned with.
Around this time, Hoover started popping up. The 60s had a big, strong presence over here. There was some Harlem Crips, some Rolling 30s out here. There was some Main Street Crips out here. That's pretty. Hoover 60s, 30s, Main Streets were pretty much the biggest ones you saw out here.
Okay.
But yeah, they started coming out here. People were moving out here. And like you said, at school.
Right.
At school. Like you said, parents moving out here. They might send a kid to live with their grandparents.
Yeah.
Or a mama might send his son to live with his dad in Atlanta. Yep. And then when he comes out here, they start recruiting. But matter of fact, I remember by Redan, there were some apartments off of Covington, off of Redan and South Harrison. Oh no, that was, I think, either Redan, South Harrison, or Covington, one of them. But up in them apartments over there, they had a strong Hoover presence. 5 Deuce Hoovers were up in there. Yeah.
Okay, so I go on the hiatus from 96 to 2006, and this is what I remember in my hood in Woodridge. In Woodridge, I remember various individuals. Mind you, nobody in my neighborhood is claiming anything. Like, nobody is throwing up no gang sign. We might have had 1 or 2 people that was from Cali, but they weren't even on it, from my understanding. I could be 100% wrong. But before I leave, it's various altercations. They ran up on us at the mall one time. Then one of the big homies got into a fight with them. Then Wick got to fight with one of them at the Rock. So it just on and on. And then I disappear for 10 years. And then when I come back, first thing to take place is I see one of the young dudes. I don't know him personally, but he has heard of me. And when he tried to dap me up, he was on some some gang handshake. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not what I'm on. And in my mind, I'm just like, man, did local town turn this hood into a blood gang? Cause that's who the primary beef was with before me leaving.
From my understanding, local town kind of phased out.
Really?
I think local town had a good run in the early 90s.
Okay.
And I think the majority of people in that thing kind of just outgrew gangbanging.
Okay.
They kind of just, because that was the thing. See, back then in the early 90s, it was just a high school phase. Once you got past 21, 22, you're either going to school, you moving on with your life.
Right.
Because there weren't generations back then. You had one generation,
okay.
maybe two in the early 90s.
Okay.
It wasn't something that was passed down.
Okay.
So when that faded out, that whole 90s thing faded out, then you had what I call the Lil Wayne phase, the Jim Jones phase. New York becomes all Bloods. So now the whole East Coast, from New York on down, is all Damu. That's a whole different generation. Now, that's a generation that when they say people know who the founding fathers are, that's who they're talking about. The Lil Wayne, Mac 10, Jim Jones generation, the second phase of gangbang.
Okay, so now, keep in mind, I'm a civilian, so I only know what I see on TV and what I pick up in conversations. But I was just looking at a video with Cash Money and 3-6 Mafia, and the name of the song, Hypnotized Posse. And when I just started paying attention to it, I see Baby, and I specifically see Lil Wayne, but this man got on a blue bandana, and I could be wrong, but it looked like he throwing up the seeds. So, but I'm a civilian, I don't know, but I specifically looked at that video this morning, and it looked like he banging Crip.
They were confused. Cash Money didn't start claiming blood until they signed Mac 10, and Mac 10 would tell you that. He turned all the Cash Money, Lil Wayne, Baby, and all them on to being Bloods.
Wow.
And then they turned the whole world onto it.
Okay, so when a Lil Wayne and a Baby turn into Bloods, is that like a regular person trying to be a part of the gang, or how does that look?
No, that's more just, to me, that's really just affiliation in TV. Chris Brown is a Blood.
Right.
And they say he's a reputable.
I have heard.
Yeah.
Him and Ray J.
Yeah, they say Chris Brown got squabbles.
Yeah, I have heard that.
He's a Blood. Now, did he grow up in the turf and all that? Nah. But he's a Blood. Did Lil Wayne grow up in the turf and all that? Nah. But do they have Bloods on payroll? Yes. Do they hang out with Bloods? Yes. Do they move with Bloods? Yes. Is Mac 10 a Blood? Yes. He bringing his homeboys around who are Bloods? Yes. So they have a very strong Blood influence on them.
Okay, but this sends a wave through not just the South, but through the nation, where it changed up real crazy.
Yeah. Everyone's a Blood now. Everyone's a Blood. If you go to DeKalb County or Rice Street right now, Blood's running. Simple as that. Atlanta's a Damu city.
Wow.
It is I would say it is, and I could be wrong because I'm old. I haven't been in touch with this stuff since the early 90s. Okay. But from my understanding, Bloods and Crips in Metro Atlanta are probably 7-1.
Wow.
7 Bloods for every one Crips set.
Okay, so and I kind of want to go at a pace because I know we're gonna have a bunch of conversations like this, but right now in the Georgia Department of Corrections, man, I got people that I was locked up with and people that I know that are Bloods, but then they beefing with other Bloods. I don't know if you can speak on that, but can you clear up some of that? Because from a civilian's perspective, I don't understand what the confusion is.
I can't speak on Blood and Blood beef.
Okay.
Now, Crips beef with Crips, I can speak on that.
Let's touch on that then.
Okay, what people don't understand is Crips beef on 3 different things. Neighborhood, gangster, before. Neighborhood, gangster, projects, and Hoovers.
Okay.
Those are the four groups within Crips. You got Project Crips, Neighborhood Crips, Gangster Crips, and Hoover Crips.
Okay.
And that's what separates them. And all it takes is for one Gangster Crip to disrespect a Neighborhood Crip. One Neighborhood Crip to try to holler at a Hoover Crips girl.
Right.
And a whole war can take off.
Just like that.
But Gangster Crips and Neighborhood Crips have been beefing since, I don't want to put the wrong number out there, but I want to say 1983, 84, 85. And Gangster Crip just mean that the end of your hood says gangsters, like A-Tray gangsters, Playboy gangsters, schoolyard gangsters. And neighborhood just mean that you were rolling 60 neighborhood, you're rolling 40s neighborhood, you are rolling 90 neighborhood, you're rolling 100 neighborhood. So the only difference is there's neighborhood at the end of my name, gangster at the end of his name, and that separates us.
Gotcha. Okay.
And if we bump heads over something as trivial as a girl, over money, over anything, a full-fledged war can break out.
And a lot of people.
The biggest one is the A-Tray gangsters in the rolling 60s. They've been beefing for over 30 years.
Why?
That started over a girl in junior high. Two dudes got to fighting about a girl. There's A-Trays in the 60s. So let's meet up at the park. Let them shoot a fair one. Let's get this out the way. A homeboy from A-Tray run and get a gun, come back and kill two dudes from 60s. Not understanding this was a simple fisticuff over a female. He made it more serious. He made it a bigger thing. Came back, dumped on him, boom, 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 killed two people. Next thing you know, this has been a war going on for 30 years.
So you're telling me that hundreds, if not thousands of people have lost their lives because of a middle school relationship?
Yep, facts. Over something that happened between two youngsters.
That's wild to me.
Yep.
And in your opinion, does this beef ever end?
Nah, because it's so hard to let go of the past. Someone uncle was killed. Someone brother was killed. Someone dad was killed. It's so hard for people to be like, I can let that go.
So basically, niggas kill niggas for niggas that then killed niggas over niggas that got killed by niggas.
And over niggas they don't even know. Because everyone killing today don't know anybody who got killed when this war started. Same thing with the Hoovers. The Hoovers beef with the 90s. The Hoovers beef with whoever. That war's going on for 30 years. Get Grave Street and Bounty Hunters. War's been going on over 30 years. These dudes live across the street from each other. And they've been killing for 30 years.
Ain't no peace treaty. Mind you, again, I'm a civilian, but in my mind, I know some smart gang members, bro. I know some people I done sat to, man, and I talk to them. I be learning from these brothers in reference to just like their mental capacity and like how they able to communicate with different people and get certain things. These are some very intelligent people. I'm talking about Bloods, Crips, GDs, Vice Lord. I'm saying I'm talking to some sharp minds. And I'm thinking, am I the only one who have come to the conclusion that this will never end in battle? We just all end up losing in the long run.
Yeah, because we as a people haven't gotten to the point to where we can say it's uncool to kill. We haven't gotten to the point to where we can say it's not, to where we can say, okay, you don't have to be a gangster. You ain't got to kill. In our community, being a gangster, being a tough guy is what's respected. And until we change that mentality, we're going to continue to see this. But no, we haven't gotten the other people yet. Not in our communities. Not in low-income communities. No.
Right.
The first thing we gravitate to is what we see outdoors, and that's the thugs, that's the gangsters, that's the tough guys. And that's what we want to emulate as a youngster.
Yeah.
When you start emulating that, then you take on everything that comes with that. You take on their previous beef. You take on their issue. You take on their problems.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? You can't be no buster.
Right.
You can't be no buster. If
you're
going to be part of this, you got to be with it all.
You got to be with it all. We're going to dive deep off into that. I want to back a little bit. Where are you originally from?
I stayed in California, Houston, New York, Atlanta, Alabama, moved all around.
Okay. What's one of the wildest moments that you remember that made you think like, yeah, Atlanta just became a gang city for real?
Well, I'm going to tell you, the wildest moment I didn't experience when I realized Atlanta is one of the worst gang cities out right now, or when it's as real as LA, New York, Texas, when it comes to gang politics, is when I realized county jail, how bad county jail is. When they started hog tying and extorting people in county jail, I said, okay, we got a problem.
Yeah, it's different. I just looked at this document. Well, it's not even. It's a YouTube on Clayton County Jail. And,
yeah, I saw that.
Hey man, that's wild. It's wild. And I got something going on with Victor Hill, the former sheriff of Clayton County. We're gonna try to hop on this week too and touch on that.
And then if you watch the news every day, like every morning I get up, I watch the news. It's a gang-related shooting every day. Every day. All you got to do is watch the news. These kids out here are banging, and they are for real. This gang culture right now is very scary in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's serious. I would not want to be part of this culture where these kids are.
Why you say that?
Because it reminds me of California in the 80s.
Damn. Where you moved to now? How you leave Georgia? When you leave Georgia, where you move to?
I really don't think you can escape it. Unless because Alabama's off the chain.
Oh my
Tennessee
God.
is off the chain. Texas off the chain, New York off the chain. You almost got to go somewhere like Idaho.
Yeah.
Iowa.
You got to go to the country. Yeah.
Delaware.
Yeah.
But Atlanta right now, the gang culture in Atlanta is at its peak. It is hot. These kids are full-fledged. These kids are banging for real. These kids are dangerous.
And they not to be played with neither.
Nah. These kids are noodle knockers. They would knock your head off.
No, for real.
It wasn't like that in the 90s. See, the gang culture today is nothing like the 90s. The 90s was a small group of people, collective. It was mostly fisticuffs. Matter of fact, Jap was one of the first documented gang-related shooting that had any ties to Crips and Bloods.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in the papers. I remember it said the guys in the car threw up gang signs. That wasn't terminology used back then.
Right.
That was reported by the witnesses. That was isolated. It was mostly fisticuff back then. Most people got killed in the 90s over money, over a female, not over gangs. It was fisticuffs. It was we jumped on them, they jumped on us. We meet up at the club and it cranks up. But today, these kids are riding around with choppers. It's totally different. Totally different.
Let me ask you this, in no particular gang in reference, but what determines if, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, if a set is real or respected or recognized or not?
None of that really matters. I mean, some people say that do. To me, that never. If your hood is active, y'all are advertisers, and y'all putting in work, you a real hood.
Simple as that.
Yeah. If y'all are active, y'all on the front line, y'all are advertising, y'all are being seen, you're recruiting, you're promoting, and you putting in work, you a real hood. It's that simple.
Okay.
There's no paperwork that come with this.
Right. While Jap is down, he writes you a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us some details in reference to that letter?
You talking about when I had matured and kind of felt bad about everything that transpired?
Right.
Yeah, me and Jap were talking. I had lost contact with Jap for a while. At this point in time, I had matured on in my life. I'm doing my thing, and I'm looking back, and Jap wrote me a letter, and it really changed my life, dog. Like, I was like, everything that I exposed him to, everything that I told him was cool, everything that I thought was right as a big homie, got him to where he was doing life in prison. And what I didn't know at the time was, when I reflected, I was a lost kid leading a lost kid. While my love for Jap was real, I loved him like my biological brother.
Right.
I was lost. I was a child trying to find my way. So how can I lead another child down the right road? I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be hip. So I'm trying to teach him how to be cool and be hip. But I'm lost myself. I'm following ignorance. So as I follow ignorance, I'm teaching him ignorance.
Right.
And when I look back at it, I wrote a letter to all my little homies in the pen. And I apologized to them. And I told them, I said, I'm sorry for what I taught you. I said, what I taught you got you where you are today.
Wow.
I said, I wish that I had the understanding and the knowledge to teach y'all differently. But I said I didn't. I said I was a child. I was lost. I was trying to find my way. And what I taught you got you where you are today. And I said, I just want to apologize to y'all. I feel responsible for where you are today. And I just want you to hear this, that I love you and I'm sorry. And if I could do it over, I promise you, I would have taught you differently.
Yeah.
And one of my little homies got the letter, and he said he shared it with the whole dorm. And he said it wasn't a dry eye in the dorm, dog.
Bang.
Yeah. Said it wasn't a dry eye. Now, peep this, though. Some homies ripped the letter up and threw it away. Told me I was wrong. Told me gangsterism forever. Gangsterism continues.
So it's just, so I'm about to go to the juvenile. And so, but I do want to know your opinion on this. Somebody who has clearly, been a part of the culture. What is, this is going to sound weird. What is a real street nigga?
At my age today, or when I was a kid?
When you was a kid.
Somebody who's with all the bullshit. You with it all.
However it comes.
Fighting, robbing, jacking, hustling, the whole nine. You with it all.
And so
you standing 10 toes.
And the outcome for being a real street nigga is
death or the penitentiary.
Simple as that. No two other ways about it.
No two other ways about it. I'm gonna tell you like this. I tell everyone, I have never been a gangster. I've never been a thug. I did bang. And me banging meant that I love my homeboys.
Okay.
I support my homeboys. I've never robbed anyone a day in my life. I ain't never stole candy out of a store. That's not me.
Right.
But if I'm with you, I'm with you. If we go out and it go down, we going to hell, we going to jail, or we going home together.
Yeah.
I am fiercely loyal to my dogs. But I was a banger. That's it. That's where it stopped.
Yeah.
I was loyal to the turf and my homies. So there were other dudes who were gangsters, who were thugs, who were real street niggas. That was never me. I'm just a loyal ass homie. But being a real street nigga, that means you gotta be with all the bullshit.
Yeah.
10 years, 15 years in the penitentiary, and take it with your chest out, head up, 10 toes down.
As a almost 50-year-old, that sounds like some scary shit to me.
Dog, it's retarded. It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy that we glorify prison within our community. It's crazy that prison, we have been taught that prison is a stepping stone to manhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what our community teaches us. Our community teaches us the only way you can be successful academically is if you play with a ball. We are not allowed to take pride in education in our community unless you run, throw, or dunk.
It almost seemed like the white man came up with it and said, go ahead and kill y'allself. In my mind, if I had to, this is me at 50, it just looked like if somebody is propping up the gang lifestyle and the real street nigga mentality, it's a white man in the back playing with puppets, just orchestrating this whole thing.
I'm gonna tell you, I believe that for the longest, but guess what?
What's
We have now bought that company, and now we orchestrate it.
That's even scary.
We own the company now.
Yeah, that's scary as hell.
Yeah. We don't need him to hold strings for us. We do it for ourselves. Yeah, and we're proud of it. Yeah, dog, kids are outside now with army guns at the gas station.
Yeah.
But that's us. That's the future generation taking it to the next level.
Right.
Yeah. Or the only way we're going to change our communities is that we start with us. We start with future generations, teaching them differently than what we have been taught. And that's what that letter to the 10 was about. Teaching future generations differently than how we were taught.
I bet you don't have a copy of that letter.
Nah, I don't. I wrote that letter, dog, in
the 90s.
Nah, I want to say I wrote it around 98, 99, 2000.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to, if it's okay with you, man, I want to do a follow-up on this, man, because there's so much stuff I want to know.
For sure, I got you.
Okay, because what I'm doing right now, I'm getting dressed, and I'm about to go buy some pizza for these kids at the juvenile, and I'm about to go in here and talk their head off. Let me ask you this. If I'm going to talk to gang members as a civilian, and some of these guys are going down the road, some of these guys ain't never coming home, what's something that I can put on their mainframe? What's something I can talk to them about, man?
Well, I mean, what can you tell someone who's looking at life without? What can you tell them? That's a dead man walking.
Simple as that.
Yeah. What can you tell someone that's never gonna see the streets again? I'm thinking if I got life without, what you gonna tell me, dog?
I know.
I'm finna be stuck in this box until I die. What can you share with me that's going to affect what I'm going to do for the next 10 years while you at home watching TV on your big screen?
Right.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything you can do for a lifer. I know if I'm doing life without, you can't tell.
And then maybe you can talk to me about.
You can give me maybe some guy. You can give me some steps on how to move in prison, because that's my world.
Yeah.
But as in being a positive person, and I'm about to be dropped into the snake pit, the belly of the beast, the worst thing that this environment has to offer for the rest of my life. Nah, I ain't trying to hear that. Not one bit. But to the potential ones that may have a future, may have a chance, we gotta let them know it's okay to be successful. It's okay. It's okay to be smart. It's okay to know how to read. It's okay to want to be something in life other than a gangster or in prison or dead. We got to share that message with them. Let them know it's okay to want to be something.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to make your mama proud. It's okay to make your grandmother proud. You can have ambitions. You can have dreams. You can have goals. Your only option is not the streets.
Right, but you really want to get to them for the gang members to get to them.
We got to start that in elementary school.
That's how young you got to go.
You got to get them in elementary school, because by 15, that's when they start looking. That's when they get off the porch. Yeah. 13, 14, 15, hopping off the porch.
Okay. Hey, man, I'm about to pull off, man. I appreciate your time, brother. All right,
you know I got you, big dog.
So we can get this part 2 to this thing, man.
10-4, sound good, big dog.
All right, bro, I appreciate you.
All right, for sure.
All right. I'm out. I'm headed. I'm gonna find. I had to get these guys something to eat, and then I'm gonna find something to tell them, man. If it ain't nothing but this ain't your last chapter. Y'all get in that comment section, man. Let me know if you got some questions for CasperLoc.